I, even though like on paper, I've had a lot of opportunities where I got to write for AIB and I got to be on TV on Queens. Those weren't like specifically my personal highlights, because for me, like the first time I did an auditorium show, so there is a thing, okay, in stand-up where when you perform in an auditorium, and I didn't know this, I saw it in a Dave Chappelle like documentary, and I lost my damn mind. It was so exciting. So what happens essentially is that when you deliver a joke and people start clapping, the laughter and the applause rolls in an auditorium. And it takes you 30 extra seconds to then pause in that moment, take it in, and then continue with your set. So say, for example, on a normal stage, you're doing 6 minutes of material. In an auditorium, that's going to take you about 8.5 to 9 minutes just to get through that same set. The first time I was opening, my first auditorium show was opening for Kunal Kamra, and my second auditorium show was opening for Abhishek Upamanyu. And the second time, my father had never seen me do stand-up live. He came to the show along with my brother and my cousin sister. I got them like VIP tickets. And I say some mean things in my stand-up, and some mean things, not a lot, some mean things. But there are jokes about my father. And a lot of people have the question like, what will your father say if he knew? And so I just wanted to clear it all once and for all. So I'm on stage, there's 800 people I have just killed. And I just, on stage, I go like, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I get this question a lot, saying, what will your father think? And I today want to confidently say my father is in the audience. Please give it up for Mayur Jagad, and 800 people are yelling and clapping for him. And I have gotten so many brownie points. He left me alone about arranged marriage. That's my story.
Ayushi, was this Nehru Auditorium?
Yes, it was Nehru in Pune. Nehru was in Pune.
Coincidentally, it's also the first auditorium show I did. And and it is the most beautiful auditorium show. Like, the thing is, I was just so floored because this is the first time I'm performing for like 500 people. And so I was opening for this comedian called Amit Tandon, and I was just supposed to just manage the show. And that is one of the things that I do apart from like, doing comedy as well. Like, just so. And he just asked me randomly that, hey, will you like to, like, would you like to do 5 minutes at today's show? And I was like, I was not prepared for like, for this. And I was just so excited. I went up, I killed. And he's like, next week I also have a show in Bombay. Would you like to perform there as well? And I was like, yeah, sure. And for that show, again, I called my dad. I was just, so the thing is, and it was just like, that was 800 people. I was just, really excited. The amount of adrenaline rush was there. And how a lot of times we as kids also used to do it whenever we're performing at your annual day or like, sports days. I would always just look in the audience for my dad. Like, that was the only thing I did, okay? And there were times that he could not make it to the annual day, and I just feel really bad. So that day I was really, there were like, 800 people in the auditorium, but my eyes were still fixated on that. Like, I knew where he was sitting. So I was just looking there because I was just like, thinking, what is he, like, how is he reacting? Because I know this other 799 people will like it because I've tried this material before. I don't care about these people for a time being. I just want to, like, go back home and not hear ki yaar tune naak kata diya hamara. And for it, like, it also is a power move, okay? Like, it's just ki, your parents then think, oh my God, my son is a sort of a big thing. Like, in front of 800 people. And then I have to then lie, okay? Like, certain days when we perform in smaller rooms and they're like, there are sometimes there'll be like 5 people, 10 people, 15 people. sometimes there are two people. And when you have those nights, you have to like because now his expectation is there. Okay, so if I say there are like 10-15 people, he'd still feel like, why are there only 10-15 people? And like that, the economics of stand-up comedy is a completely different thing. One day maybe we'll have that conversation,
but not right now.
So I will complete my previous question that Vodafone caused me to stop because I just lost my internet connection. But like I said, I was talking about NCPA. It's like it's a great venue, and it's like I would believe it is anybody's dream to get a chance to perform there. And that was the first time that I let my parents come to watch me perform on stage, because I just knew that if I'm doing it at NCPA at that venue, it's going to be great. And like they said, watching the wave of laughter and applause coming to you, and watching your parents seeing you be funny on stage, that was like one of the most memorable highlights.